Right. Good morning, everybody. This is Dave Cockwell of Cockwells here in Cockwell. And Dave, welcome to this Business Owner Spotlight interview. And thank you very much for coming come along. And please tell me in your own words what you do and how long you've been doing it for.
Yes, well, I'm Dave Cockwell and I'm Managing Director of Cockwells Modern and Classic Boat Building. We build boats down here in Cornwall, mostly sort of semi-production, highly customized luxury motor launches. And we also build tenders for large yachts, which are completely custom, built to the highest possible standards.
Yeah, and when did you actually start your business? And I mean, is this something you always want to be get into?
Well, I guess I left school at 15, and I didn't really know what to do, and I loved boats, and I'd always worked on boats as a kid, and I just started working on boats basically,
Okay.
and it sort of grew from there.
Wow. And here you are now, yeah. And that's great. I love that. And I guess over the years that we have seen the landscape change for many businesses due to the impact of COVID and even also the cost of living prices as well. But with the COVID, I mean, how did COVID-19 impact your business and what actions you should take to, I guess, overcome those particular challenges there?
Well, I guess the first problem was actually understanding what we were supposed to do. That was the biggest challenge, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And obviously, everyone knows the guidance from the government was pretty vague. And I started off I had guys saying, "Oh, well, we all want to go home." So I went into work and I said, "Okay, you can. I'm going to let you all go home today for 2 weeks on full pay, and then we'll see what happens." This is before they'd worked out furlough and all the rest of it. And I said, but the thing is if you do that, in a month's time, if we don't get these boats built and our stage payments in and keep the business rolling, then actually there might not be a job. So the choice is yours. If you've got a genuine reason, then by all means go. But if you can stay, keep working, and let's make this thing happen. Half the guys went home and half the guys stayed. And then once we understood what the rules were and what our obligations were, we basically made sure that everyone that needed to stay away stayed away, and everyone that didn't need to stay away came into work. And obviously, it's quite a big place. We managed to spread the guys out, and we managed to keep the business running, which I'm very glad we did, because I don't see how you could possibly just stop, because the overheads don't stop, and you've still got all sorts of tax liabilities and rental liabilities. So we had to keep going. But the ultimate effect was that we didn't have the number of hours being worked in the year. And actually during the COVID year, the actual worst part, where everyone was sort of, where half the guys were at home, it wasn't actually as bad as the latter part, where you didn't know whether people were going to turn up. They get pinged and then they just wouldn't be there, and that was a total nightmare. And then we had the situation where people thought, well, actually, I like being at home. So then they all wanted to be at home. They didn't want to come to work. So again, couldn't get the hours on the ground. And then you have the situation where everyone thinks, well, I really don't want to work, but now I've run out of money. Actually, what I need is a lot more money. So everyone wants more money to actually go to work and do less hours. So that's the biggest challenge, and I'm sure that's the one that is faced by everybody.
Yeah.
And has ultimately led to the cost of living crisis we are in today, I believe, anyway.
Yeah.
So what did that do to us? Well, it meant that yes, we managed to meet our contractual obligations. We built all our boats. We got them out the door, but they were all late, which most clients, I'd say, in fact, all our clients have been really understanding about. Everyone understands it is what it is. Of course, you can't get the parts as well. That was another big challenge, you know, because obviously the company supplying the parts got the same problems, and a lot of those actually did close down and they didn't make parts. So once everyone started working, you couldn't get any parts, which was
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
But we overcame all of that, and we're through the other side. And actually, you know, recruiting was a real challenge. Getting guys to come to work was a real challenge. But right now, it's gone completely the other way. Everyone's back to normal. Everyone's working super hard and working really well. And actually, we're recruiting really well. Got some really, really good guys. And the other thing that COVID allowed me to do was it allowed me to expand. I bought one of our competitors, and I bought another shipyard locally, which I don't know would have come available without COVID. So on the negative side, we struggled to actually turn over the business we needed to through lack of staff and materials. On the positive side, we grew the business. You know, we've gone from pre-COVID, we were less than 50 people. Post-COVID, we're 150.
Wow. You know, yeah, that's. I mean, I love hearing these stories, and you know, and one of the things I come across speaking to business leaders is that when we ask about COVID, yes, there's a negative impact, but there's good that's come out of it as well. You know, it's not all doom and gloom, if you're with me there. So, which, you know, hearing your story and seeing how your company's expanded, you know, during that period is just it's really encouraging to hear. Really encouraging to hear.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned in business is you've got to look at every challenge as an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you got to look at what you know. It doesn't matter how bad something looks. You got to think. You know, you got to always look for the positive side of things, I think.
Yeah. Because there is.
There is some.
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard to see it.
You gotta find it, gotta dig deep.
but you know, I think if you can step back and look at it from another angle,
yeah,
you know, don't get too wrapped up in what appears to be the problem at the moment. Just look at it objectively, then I think you can usually work your way around these things.
That's right. And you know, speaking of challenges as well, I mean, obviously now we're in 2023. I mean, what challenges are you facing now as a business leader, and what are you doing about it?
Well, I think our next big mission is strengthening the team. So we really need to grow more staff to fill up all the space that we've now got.
Okay.
So in our business, it's usually you either haven't got enough space or you haven't got enough people.
Yes.
So we maxed our space, and then we got some more space. So now we're looking for some more people. And then with the people, then you got the training. So we're just about to embark on setting up a training academy. Okay. So we can get some sort of official training going on within the company. We're recruiting heavily across all trades and also throughout our management team. So I'm looking for some strong management to join me at the higher level of the company, so that we can manage our growth. You might think sales were a problem, but for us, they're not. Fortunately, sales have never actually been a problem. That's the one thing we've never struggled with. We're getting a lot of more inquiries from abroad, especially the US. So we're starting to look at that as a potential market for us. We've got an agent in Australia who's doing really well. So I guess we got the challenges of setting up that dealer network outside the UK.
Okay. All right. Okay. And what would you say because it seems like things are going well for you, and you're on top of things, and obviously there's other bits and pieces that you're trying to get more teams, struggle management teams to cope with the growth of the business there. And what would you say if you had to start all over again, Dave, to start from scratch? What would you do differently?
I guess, I mean, I started with nothing at all,
Mhm.
and I earned some money, and I spent half that money on tools and the other half on living. And I did that every week, and I've done ever since. And as the company grew, instead of buying a tool for £300, you buy a building for £1,000,000.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe if I was doing it again, perhaps I would, if I had all the knowledge I have today, I would probably make a plan and try and fund it in advance, because
Right.
I think
Okay.
it might be easier. But I haven't done it that way, so I don't really know if it would.
Oh, that's another challenge for you.
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot of things. I mean, there's lots of things that you do differently.
Yeah.
I think I've managed to do what I've done by being careful, and we've got very little debt in the company, and we've grown quite well. So, but it has been hard work, like very hard work personally on myself. And I don't know if you can ever really get away from that. I don't think there's any easy ride, but I do think that a good solid plan with a strong business objective is a good idea. The problem in our industry, well, my particular part of it, is that we're very much led by what our client requires. So we're not a manufacturing business that says we're going to build 100 boats of one model in a year and I've got a sales department that's going to go and sell those boats. We are building to order, so we don't necessarily know what the next phone call is going to bring and whether we're able to do it. So it's quite an organic and dynamic business from that perspective. So planning is all fantastic. You can make all the plans in the world, but actually tomorrow the phone rings and everything changes. So it's a tricky business from that perspective.
It's about adaptability, isn't it? And being flexible with that. Yeah.
And I've always kept a lot of I got different streams of activity that are attracted to different types of people, because I've always been nervous about being overexposed to one sector in case something happens in society which affects that sector, which then, because our contracts are so big, if you only work for the super rich, like so during COVID, for example, the first year of COVID, the super rich who were buying tenders just shut the door. There was no communication or anything, so they weren't buying boats. And as it happened, we had a full order book. But if we were reliant on a phone call from one of those guys, we would have been finished, because it didn't really happen. But we had, whereas our Dutchy motor launches, which are aimed more to discerning ex-sailors or people that have done well in business, we had record sales during COVID because everyone was sat at home looking at the internet and drooling over our boats.
Yes.
So from my perspective, it's more difficult having a diverse business that occupies different spaces, but it's safe. And in the early days, I did get, when I just built one-off custom boats, I got badly burnt by a guy that didn't pay me, and it frightened me significantly. I managed to survive it, obviously. A lot of people don't, but through surviving it, by making some really important calls very quickly, I then decided that I wasn't going to put myself in that position ever again.
Great. That's great. Well, Dave, I mean, thank you very much. That really concludes the interview and I just want to say it's very, very inspiring and very educational as well. And I would say thank you very much. And I think everyone who listens to this will be like, wow, this is really, I took some great learnings from this. So thank you very much for this morning. So, and I just wish you all the best there.